He was born into royalty, destined for greatness, but his life was tragically cut short. This is the heart-wrenching story of the King of Malaysia's son who died at just 25. What could have led to the untimely death? Watch till the end to know. Our story begins in the lush, tropical state of Johor, located at the southern tip of peninsular Malaysia. To understand Prince Abdul Jalil's life, we must first delve into the rich history of the Johor Sultanate and its place in Malaysia's unique constitutional monarchy. The Johor Sultanate traces its roots back to the early 16th century, emerging from the ashes of the Malacca Sultanate after its fall to Portuguese colonizers. Over the centuries, Johor has played a crucial role in the region's politics, often serving as a counterbalance to foreign influences and neighboring powers. In 1957, when Malaya, later Malaysia, gained independence from British rule, a rotational monarchy system was established. Under this system, the rulers of 9 Malay states take turns serving as the Yang di-Pertuanagon, or supreme head of state, for 5-year terms. This unique arrangement reflects Malaysia's federal structure and its blend of traditional monarchy with modern democratic principles. It was into this world of royal tradition and national responsibility that Prince Abdul Jalil was born in July 1990. His father, then the Crown Prince and now Sultan Ibrahim of Johor, was known for his business acumen and vast wealth. The Johor royal family's fortune, estimated at $5.7 billion, stems from extensive land ownership, business investments, and historical privileges. Abdul Jalil's mother, Raja Zareth Sophia, is renowned for her intellect and commitment to education. An Oxford graduate and accomplished author, she instilled in her children a love for learning and a sense of duty to their people. From his earliest years, Abdul Jalil was groomed for a life of royal duty. He received a rigorous education, studying not only academic subjects but also the intricacies of royal protocol and the history of the Johor Sultanate. However, those close to the family noticed early on that Abdul Jalil possessed a unique sensitivity and an affinity for nature that set him apart from his siblings. As Abdul Jalil grew, it became clear that he was not content with the traditional path laid out for a Malaysian prince. While his peers might have been more interested in luxury cars and polo matches, young Abdul Jalil could often be found exploring the lush forests of Johor, observing wildlife, and reading books about animal behavior. His passion for the natural world was nurtured by frequent visits to the Singapore Zoo, just across the causeway from Johor. These visits sparked a dream in the young prince, a dream that would shape the course of his life. After completing his high school education at a prestigious international school in Johor, Abdul Jalil made a decision that shocked many in the royal court. Instead of pursuing a degree in law, business, or political science as was expected, he announced his intention to study zoology. This decision was met with mixed reactions. Some courtiers saw it as a frivolous pursuit, unbecoming of a prince. Others, including his mother, recognized it as a sign of Abdul Jalil's compassionate nature and independent spirit. His father, while initially skeptical, came to support his son's choice, recognizing the potential for Abdul Jalil to make a unique contribution to Johor and Malaysia. Abdul Jalil's journey in zoology began with a position as a caretaker in the reptile section of the Singapore Zoo. This hands-on experience was far from the cushy internships usually arranged for royalty. The prince worked long hours, cleaning enclosures, preparing meals for the animals, and assisting in their medical care. His colleagues at the zoo, initially unaware of his royal status, were impressed by his work ethic and genuine passion for the animals. One co-worker, who wishes to remain anonymous, recalls, he was always the first to volunteer for the messiest jobs. You'd never have guessed he was a prince if you saw him elbow deep in a crocodile enclosure, grinning from ear to ear. Abdul Jalil's experience at the Singapore Zoo solidified his desire to pursue zoology as a career. With the support of his family, he applied to the Zoological Society of London, ZSL, one of the world's most prestigious institutions for the study of animal conservation. His time at ZSL was transformative. Surrounded by leading experts in the field and passionate peers, Abdul Jalil thrived. He threw himself into his studies, often spending late nights in the library or assisting with research projects. His dissertation on the conservation of Southeast Asian tiger populations earned him high praise and a diploma with honors. During his time in London, Abdul Jalil also gained a broader perspective on global conservation efforts and the role of zoos in protecting endangered species. He became particularly interested in the concept of conservation diplomacy, the idea that wildlife conservation could serve as a bridge between nations and cultures. Upon returning to Malaysia, Abdul Jalil faced a crossroads. As a prince, He was expected to take up a position in the state administration, perhaps in the environmental department given his educational background. However, true to form, Abdul Jalil chose a different path. He accepted a position at the Orangutan Rehabilitation Center in the Kabili Sepalak Forest Reserve in Sabah, Malaysian Borneo. This decision raised eyebrows not just because of its unconventional nature for a prince, but also because it took him far from his home state of Johor. At Sepalak, Abdul Jalil was in his element. He worked tirelessly alongside local and international conservationists, helping to rescue, rehabilitate, and release orangutans back into the wild. His royal status, which he downplayed, occasionally proved useful in navigating bureaucratic hurdles and securing additional funding for the center. One of Abdul Jalil's colleagues at Sepalak, Dr. Emma Foster, an Australian primatologist, remembers him fondly. He had this incredible ability to connect with the orangutans. It was like he could communicate with them on some deeper level. But what really set him apart was his commitment to the local community. He understood that conservation isn't just about animals, it's about people too. Indeed, Abdul Jalil initiated several community outreach programs during his time at Sepalak. He worked with local schools to educate children about the importance of the rainforest and its inhabitants. He also helped establish a microloan program for villagers to start eco-friendly businesses, reducing their reliance on illegal logging and poaching. While Abdul Jalil's work in wildlife conservation was fulfilling, he felt a growing desire to serve his country in a more direct capacity. This led him to make another unconventional decision. At the age of 21, he enrolled in the Royal Malaysian Police Training Center. This move was unprecedented for a member of the royal family and caused quite a stir in Malaysian society. Some praised it as a noble act of public service, while others questioned whether it was appropriate for a prince to take on such a role. Abdul Jalil approached his police training with the same dedication he had shown in his zoological studies. He insisted on no special treatment, participating in all aspects of the rigorous training alongside his fellow cadets. His instructors noted his natural leadership abilities and his knack for de-escalating tense situations. Upon completing his training, Abdul Jalil earned the rank of inspector, but he didn't stop there. Driven by a desire to serve in the most challenging role possible, he applied to join the Special Actions Unit, UTK, of the Malaysian Special Forces. The UTK is an elite counter-terrorism unit, often compared to the British SAS or American Delta Force. The selection process is notoriously difficult, with a dropout rate of over 90%. Abdul Jalil's determination to join this unit spoke volumes about his character and his commitment to national service. Against all odds, Abdul Jalil completed the UTK selection process and became the first member of the Malaysian royal family to serve in the police special forces. His time with the UTK included specialized training in hostage rescue, close protection, and counter-terrorism operations. While much of his work with the UTK remains classified, colleagues speak of his coolness under pressure and his ability to think creatively in high-stress situations. One former team member, speaking on condition of anonymity, shared an anecdote. "We were on a training exercise, a simulated hostage situation. Things were going south fast. Then the prince, though we never called him that, came up with this brilliant plan. He used his knowledge of animal behavior to predict how the hostage takers would react. It worked perfectly. That's when I realized he wasn't just here because of his name. He was one of the best among us." Even as he served in the police force, Abdul Jalil never lost sight of his commitment to public service in a broader sense. He became actively involved with the Malaysian Red Crescent Society, the local branch of the International Red Cross and Red Crescent movement. His work with the Red Crescent exposed him to the various humanitarian challenges facing Malaysia, from natural disasters to community health issues. Abdul Jalil took a particular interest in disaster preparedness and response, perhaps influenced by his experience in the UTK. He used his profile as a prince to raise awareness and funds for various causes. One of his most successful initiatives was a campaign to improve access to clean water in rural areas of Malaysia. The campaign not only raised millions of ringgit but also brought national attention to an often overlooked issue. Abdul Jalil's humanitarian work extended beyond Malaysia's borders. He was instrumental in organizing relief efforts for neighboring countries affected by natural disasters, including the 2013 Typhoon Haiyan in the Philippines and the 2014 floods in southern Thailand. In addition to his work with the Red Crescent, Abdul Jalil supported numerous medical charities. He was particularly passionate about improving healthcare access in rural areas. One of his most impactful projects was the establishment of mobile clinics that could reach remote villages. providing basic healthcare and health education to underserved communities. Dr. Life Boon, who worked with Abdul Jalil on the mobile clinic project, recalls, the prince didn't just lend his name to the project, he was there on the ground, helping to set up clinics, talking to patients, even assisting with basic procedures when we were short-staffed. He had this remarkable ability to make everyone feel at ease, from the youngest child to the oldest villager. Amidst his many responsibilities and charitable works, Abdul Jalil found solace and joy in sailing. Unlike many wealthy individuals who prefer large, luxurious yachts, the prince favored small sailboats that required skill and offered a more intimate connection with the sea. His love for sailing went beyond personal enjoyment. Abdul Jalil saw it as a means to develop character, promote environmental awareness, and create opportunities for Malaysian youth. In 2013, he launched Liga Layar Malaysia, a series of sailing regattas with cash prizes aimed at encouraging young Malaysians to take up the sport. The Liga Layar Malaysia quickly grew in popularity, attracting participants from across the country and even neighboring nations. The competition not only provided a platform for aspiring sailors but also boosted local tourism and raised awareness about marine conservation. Abdul Jalil was hands-on in organizing these events, often participating himself. He used these occasions to connect with young Malaysians, sharing his experiences and encouraging them to pursue their passions, whatever they might be. One young sailor, Nurul Shafiqa binti Abdullah, who participated in several Liga Layar events, shared her experience. Meeting Prince Abdul Jalil changed my life. I was just a girl from a fishing village who loved the sea. He saw my potential and encouraged me to dream big. Thanks to the opportunities provided by Liga Layar, I'm now training to represent Malaysia in international sailing competitions. The prince's sailing initiatives had far-reaching impacts. They promoted water safety and swimming skills in a country with extensive coastlines but a high drowning rate. The events encouraged environmental stewardship by connecting people with marine ecosystems and raising awareness about ocean pollution. The competitive aspect of Liga Layar helped develop teamwork, leadership, and resilience among participants. The growing popularity of sailing opened up new career opportunities in Malaysia's maritime and tourism industries. In late 2014, at the height of his public service career and philanthropic work, Abdul Jalil received devastating news. He was diagnosed with stage 4 liver cancer. The diagnosis came as a shock to the nation, particularly given the prince's young age of 24 and his active, healthy lifestyle. The news of Abdul Jalil's illness was met with an outpouring of support from across Malaysia and beyond. People from all walks of life, many of whom had been touched by the prince's work and kindness, offered prayers and well wishes. Despite the grueling nature of his treatment, Abdul Jalil remained committed to his duties in charitable works. In a move that astounded many, he continued his involvement with the Malaysian Red Crescent Society even as he underwent chemotherapy. His resilience was put to the test almost immediately. In December 2014, just weeks after beginning his cancer treatment, Malaysia was hit by some of the worst floods in its recent history. The floods affected several states, including Kelantan, Terengganu, and Pahang, displacing hundreds of thousands of people and causing massive damage to infrastructure. Despite his weakened state, Abdul Jalil threw himself into coordinating relief efforts. He worked tirelessly from his hospital bed, using his connections and influence to mobilize resources and ensure aid reached even the most remote affected areas. Dr. Hishamuddin Badarudin, who worked closely with Abdul Jalil during the flood relief efforts, recalls, "It was incredible to witness. Here was a man fighting for his own life, yet he was more concerned about the lives of others. He would be on the phone for hours, coordinating relief efforts, then go straight into a chemotherapy session. His dedication was truly inspiring." As news of Abdul Jalil's condition spread, it sparked a nationwide movement of support and solidarity. People across Malaysia, regardless of their ethnicity, religion, or social status, united in hope for the prince's recovery. Prayer vigils were held in mosques, churches, and temples across the country. Social media campaigns with hashtags like #PrayForAbdulJalil and #FightLikeJalil went viral, with millions of Malaysians sharing messages of support and personal stories of how the prince had touched their lives. The prince's battle with cancer also brought unprecedented attention to the disease in Malaysia. Cancer awareness campaigns saw a significant uptick in participation, and there was a marked increase in the number of people going for cancer screenings. Abdul Jalil used his platform to advocate for better cancer care in Malaysia. particularly for those in rural areas who often lack access to advanced treatments. He spoke openly about his own treatment journey, the challenges he faced, and the importance of early detection. In one of his public addresses during this time, Abdul Jalil said, "Cancer does not discriminate. It doesn't care if you're a prince or a pauper. But what I've learned is that in facing this disease, we are all equal. We all need support, love, and hope. And in Malaysia, we have that in abundance." Despite the best efforts of his medical team and the hopes of an entire nation, Abdul Jalil's condition continued to deteriorate. In his final months, he divided his time between receiving treatment and completing a bucket list of charitable acts. One of his last public appearances was at the opening of a new ward at the Johor Bahru General Hospital, which he had helped fund. Even in his weakened state, he took the time to visit with patients, offering words of encouragement and hope. On December 5, 2015, at the age of 25, Prince Abdul Jalil passed away peacefully, surrounded by his family. The news of his death plunged Malaysia into mourning. Flags across the nation were flown at half-mast, and a period of national mourning was declared. The prince's funeral was one of the largest Malaysia had ever seen. Thousands lined the streets of Johor Bahru to pay their final respects as the funeral procession made its way through the city. People from all over the country made the journey to Johor to attend the funeral, many sharing stories of how the prince had impacted their lives. In a poignant gesture, Abdul Jalil's police cap and sword were placed on his coffin, honoring his service in law enforcement. The funeral was attended by dignitaries from across Southeast Asia and beyond, a testament to the impact the young prince had made in his short life. In the years following Abdul Jalil's passing, his legacy has continued to shape Malaysian society in profound ways. Perhaps the most tangible aspect of his legacy is the Tunku Laksamana Johor Cancer Center in Johor Bahru, established by Sultan Ibrahim in memory of his son. This state-of-the-art facility has become a beacon of hope for cancer patients across Southeast Asia. The center's motto, "Fight like Jalil," has become a rallying cry for cancer patients and their families. It offers cutting-edge treatments, engages in groundbreaking research, and provides holistic care that addresses not just the physical but also the emotional and psychological needs of patients. Dr. Shankar Gunarasa, the center's director, explains, Prince Abdul Jalil copyright response was limited as it hit the maximum length allowed at this time. Continue edit certainly. I'll continue the narrative from where we left off. Dr. Shankar Gunarasa, the center's director, explains, Prince Abdul Jalil's vision was not just about providing medical treatment, but about offering hope and dignity to every patient who walks through our doors. We strive to embody his compassionate spirit in everything we do here. The Liga Layer Malaysia, now in its 20th year, has become a cornerstone of Malaysia's sporting calendar. It has produced several Olympic-level sailors and has been instrumental in developing Malaysia's blue economy, promoting sustainable use of marine resources. Environmental conservation efforts inspired by Abdul Jalil have borne fruit. The Malayan tiger population, once on the brink of extinction, has shown signs of recovery thanks to aggressive conservation measures and community-based anti-poaching initiatives. The orangutan rehabilitation program in Sepalak, where Abdul Jalil once worked, has become a model for primate conservation worldwide. In 2040, on what would have been Abdul Jalil's 50th birthday, Malaysia launched the Jalil 50 Initiative, a nationwide call to action, encouraging every Malaysian to commit 50 hours of community service in honor of the prince. The response was overwhelming, with millions participating and generating a wave of positive change across the country. As we look to the future, it's clear that Prince Abdul Jalil's story is far from over. It continues to unfold in the lives of those he inspired, in the institutions he helped create, and in the enduring spirit of service he instilled in his nation. In a world often divided by differences, Abdul Jalil's life stands as a testament to the unifying power of compassion and the enduring impact of a life devoted to others. His legacy reminds us that each of us, regardless of our position in life, has the power to make a difference. And so, as we end this documentary, we invite you, our viewers, to reflect on your own lives and the impact you wish to have on the world. For in the end, it is not the years in our life that count, but the life in our years. Prince Abdul Jalil may have lived for only 25 years, but the life in those years continues to ripple through time, touching lives and inspiring change. In the spirit of Prince Abdul Jalil, may we all strive to be the change we wish to see in the world. Click that subscribe button now and press the video now popping on your screen. I am sure you will love it. Hit the like button and feel free to comment your thoughts. See you there.